So I'm going to go ahead and start, and I would like to welcome you all to Zoom Tips for Attendees. This is a webinar designed to help you to understand the toolbar and all the little tools that you have to at your disposal when you attend any kind of a Zoom meeting. If you are familiar with Zoom and you've Zoomed perhaps with family or friends, it might be kind of simplistic. Hopefully there will be a couple little tidbits that you'll be able to pick up as we go along. Just so you know, I am recording. If you don't want your nice little face showing in the recording, you can always turn off your computer screen. But I think for the most part, it will be my face that shows and the PowerPoint, so you don't have to worry too much about that. My name is Sue Breyer. I do know quite a few of you, and I've met quite a few of you. My name is Sue Breyer. I am a member of Division 33, which is the Hemet and San Jacinto area and surrounding areas. I am on the board as a vice president. I do their newsletter and I'm their webmaster and do all that CTC kind of stuff. And I'm also a CTC specialist for CalRTA. In my past life before retirement, I did a lot of these trainings with teachers and professional development. So this is kind of fun for me to be able to kind of resurrect that again. Once again, I am letting you know that this is being recorded. You'll be able to access this recording if you ever want to see it again, or you want to go through some of the strategies that we're going to cover today. All you have to do is go to the CalRTA website, calrta.org. You don't even have to log in, just scroll down the page until you see the box that says webinars, and you click on that, and in about a day, the recording of this presentation will be there. So you can access it, any of the webinars, actually the recordings, after they're completed. So you can do that. All righty, let's get started here. First thing I want to talk about is a couple of the little messages that you get when you first start a Zoom meeting. You may have seen these today. Obviously, you're here and you're logged on, and so you got past some of these. But one of the first messages that you get when joining a Zoom meeting is to join with video. Oh, let me stop real quick here. I would like everybody, if you haven't already done so, to please mute your microphone. And if you don't know how to do that, look for the little microphone. If you can find your toolbar, find the microphone on the far left and click on that until there's a red line that goes through that. And if you can't see that, let me see if I can mute you all. Oh, okay. Edna and Sharon, can you guys mute yourselves? I think, oh, we're perfect. Okay, I think we're good to go then. Excellent. That will cut out a lot of that background noise. We want to keep that to a minimum, and that's something that we kind of cover later. Okay, so you're going to get a message when you log on that says join with video. You can also join without video. Basically, the choice is this. When you join with video, that simply means that your face is going to be showing to other people on the screen. And if you're okay with that, then go ahead and click with join video. Most people do join with video. It doesn't make any difference whether you do or do not. If you are having a bad hair day, or you just got out of the shower and you don't want people looking at you, then join without video. You can always switch that, and I'll show you that later, how you can do that. The second message that you're gonna get when you first join is join with computer audio, and that's where this red arrow is down here. Your computer audio is basically your default audio. If you're on a laptop or you're on a desktop computer, even on your phone, you're going to join with computer audio, and that's your default. That's if you don't want your audio on, or you're joining by phone, you have the option up here where it says phone call. Okay. Now, something that you might want to do if you keep getting this message popping up at the beginning of a Zoom session, see this little box down here? It says automatically join audio by computer when joining a meeting. If you click on that, you're not going to see this message every single time you join a Zoom meeting. So if you click that box next time, and I can also show you later how you can get to that box without any problem. But that will keep this pop-up from showing every single time you join a Zoom meeting or a webinar. So those are the first two things that you're going to see. Now, if you get in, one of the things that you're going to see, of course, is yourself, hopefully, unless you have decided to not have your video on and you have joined without video. If you've joined without video, this screen is going to be black and it'll probably have your name across the middle of it. Okay, but you're going to see yourself, and you may or may not see this toolbar where this red arrow is. You might see this toolbar. If you don't see the toolbar, and well, if you're on a phone, if you're on a smartphone, you're not going to see the whole thing. Okay, I think you see 3 different icons if you are on your cell phone. If you're on an iPad, again, you might only see a couple of these. But on a laptop or a desktop, you're going to be able to see this toolbar. If you cannot see it, here's a hint. If you can't see it, just take your mouse. If you use a mouse, okay, I'm old school. If you use a mouse, just wiggle the mouse around and that menu is going to pop up from the bottom of your screen. Or if you're using a laptop, just move your finger around on the that little pad, and hopefully those tools will pop up from the bottom. And I will be showing you how to make those permanent so they're not up and down and up and down and up and down all the time, that you can always have them ready to go when you need them. Okay, so this is what you're going to see as soon as you get on. Obviously, many of you already have your videos on. A couple of you do not, and that's okay. But you should be able to see the toolbar, and if not, I'm going to show you how to find that. Now, you have a couple different kinds of views when you attend a Zoom. One is called speaker view, and the other one is called gallery view. The gallery view, well, let's do speaker view first. Speaker view looks like this image on the right, okay, where you see the speaker here is the large picture in the middle, okay? And then usually along the top or along the side, you're going to see other people who are attending. By the way, this note down here, the host document sharing alters these screens. So I have a PowerPoint up, so it might not look like this. If I were not sharing a PowerPoint, it would look more like this. Okay, so when I'm sharing a document or somebody's sharing a document with you, then it's going to look a little bit different. So this is the speaker view. So whoever is giving the presentation, they, or whoever is speaking, because speakers can change in the course of a meeting, on speaker view, their image is going to be larger and everybody else's will be smaller. The other one kind of looks like the Brady Bunch, stacked boxes. So this screen can hold up to like 49 different images. So on a typical, if I were not screen sharing a PowerPoint, if we just were talking, we could probably see everybody who's in this meeting. So it kind of looks like that, a series of boxes. And as I said, if somebody is sharing a document or sharing a PowerPoint, it's going to look different from the images that are on the side here. How do you change these views? If you are on a laptop or you are on a desktop computer, you're going to see this menu usually in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, it'll say, if it says gallery view, that means you're probably in speaker view, and if you want to go to gallery view, the Brady Bunch boxes, then you're going to click that and it'll switch how you see things. You can, by the way, you can try these out at any time during this presentation. If you want to change your view, just go up to the corner, and if you find that gallery view or speaker view, you can click on it and change it back and forth if you want. So as we go through this, you can actually practice some of these things as we go and test them out, because it doesn't affect the presentation at all. So I'm not seeing what you're doing on your screen. Okay, so on our next one, this is, again, another view. This is obviously a gallery view, and I've got to move something here. Okay, you'll see one guy here, he's got a green box around him. that means that he is the one who is currently speaking. So the speaker, oops, pardon me. The speaker will have a green box around them or a green underline. So you can always tell who's speaking. Now, if you have people who are not muted during a presentation, say Juliet down here in the second row on the left, say Juliet has not muted her speaker, and Irvin up here is trying to do the presentation, and Juliet's speaker is open or on, and her dog is barking and her phone is ringing and the water's going and whatever, that green box might go around her. And that kind of identifies the culprit on who's creating the noise in the background. So that green box might switch back and forth if other people do not have their mics muted. Okay, so it just tells you who's speaking or who's making the most sound at the moment. You're also going to see the names of each participant, which is really nice. So if you don't know people, you can kind of go through and look at names and kind of, you know, pin faces and names together, which is really nice. If somebody has chosen not to have their video on, you're going to see a black square like this one down here, Jen Crowell. He obviously chose not to have his image showing, and so he has turned off his video camera, but his name will be there, so we know that he's still participating. We have a couple people in our presentation who have black screens, and that's fine. If you turn your video off, then we don't see your face. You could get up, walk to the restroom, come back, and nobody's going to know that you're gone, okay, because your screen is black. So that's what that is right there. Okay, I'm going to start on talking about the toolbar here. As you can see, there's a big long black toolbar. This is the one that I said is typically at the bottom of your screen. And if it disappears and you move your mouse or you move that touchpad on your laptop, that menu should come up. This toolbar should come up. So on this toolbar, as a participant, you have a number of settings. If you host a meeting, you're going to see different things there usually. Okay, so on the left, we have that microphone. So obviously that's going to be talking about your mic, and it's going to be talking about what you are hearing. We have the video, which designates whether you're going to see people, if people are going to see you or not. Participants here, we'll talk about that in a second. Chat feature. I am not covering sharing screen because typically as a participant in a Zoom, you're not going to be sharing your screen or sharing a PowerPoint. The record button, that is my setting. I get to choose that as a presenter. If I want to let you record, then I can turn those the permission over to you. But typically, as a participant, you're not going to choose to record or not record. That's usually up to the presenter. And this last one over here is the reactions, the little smiley face. And I'll show you that. That's just a real, you know, it's got a couple little goodies in there. And on the far side is the leave button. So when you are ready to leave, don't leave yet. When you're ready to leave the presentation, I'll show you, you click that leave button and I'll show you what to do there. So I'm going to be covering all of those in the course of this presentation. So let's start with the microphone icon, the microphone. And by the way, hopefully you printed out the if you printed out the PowerPoint that was attached, you can take notes on that. Okay, I'm hearing somebody, so somebody is not muted. Okay, I need you to mute your mics if you would, please. But you can take notes on that PowerPoint, and that might help too as we go along. We are on slide number 7. So on that mic, at that microphone on the toolbar, you're going to see that little up arrow called a caret. If you click on that caret, you are going to see this black menu show up. Now let me just let you know, if you are on a smartphone or you are on an iPad, those two devices are too small for a large menu like this. So you're not going to be able to access this menu from those two devices. If you have a desktop or a laptop, you do have access to these, just so you know that. Okay, so if you click that caret next to the microphone, you're going to get the black pop-up menu. The first thing that you will see listed is select a microphone. Select a microphone. The microphone, of course, is the setting to determine how others are going to hear your voice. All right, how others are going to hear your voice. On a computer, either a laptop or a desktop, you probably will have a couple selections here. It might be the microphone, or it might be the computer system. Maybe you have a, maybe you have a headset with one of those mics, those portable mics that swings forward. That might be your microphone, that's going to be your default, or it might just be the microphone that's built into your computer. One of those is going to be checked. And if you're having trouble with other people being able to hear you, I'm going to show you in a moment how you test that out. Okay, but the first thing you notice is the microphone settings right here. And usually too, the check mark means that is the one that is currently in play as you're in the Zoom. On that same menu, the second item is select a speaker. And that is how you are going to hear others. So it's basically your audio. Will I be able to hear other people? And if so, how am I going to do that? So that's the speaker. Again, notice that there are two different choices here. So it might be a headphone, or it might be the system speaker, which is basically the computer that you're using, that you're going to have that audio on, and you're going to be listening to things just from your computer without, earphones or some kind of a headset. One of those will be checked. That means that that is the one that is currently designated as your speaker of choice during the Zoom. And I'll show you in a second how you can change that if it's not working. One of the most critical items here is the muting and unmuting of your microphone. And I thank you all for muting yourselves. This is awesome because it's nice and quiet and everybody can hear. When you attend a Zoom meeting or a Zoom webinar, or any kind of an online meeting like this, it's online etiquette to mute your mic. I'm going to show you in a second an easy way to unmute yourself, but you can keep your mic muted until the presenter decides that they want to have a question and answer session or open things up to discussion. But typically you're going to want to keep your mic muted. That's just a good thing to do, and it keeps it allows everybody to hear the content much more easily. Okay, so we've looked at select a microphone and select a speaker, and you know that you have a couple options on your laptop or your desktop here. Well, maybe you want to test them. Maybe you want to make sure that everybody's hearing you, your microphone's working, make sure that you can hear other people. So if you click on test speaker and microphone, you're going to, and this is in the same menu, by the way, it's the one where the microphone is. Okay, so we're still in that same menu box. You click on test speaker and microphone, you're going to get this little pop-up white box, the first one. And notice what it says. It says testing speaker. And it's going to play a ringtone, kind of like a cell phone ringtone, and it'll play it multiple times. If you hear that ringtone, you click yes, everything is good, you're ready to go. That means you will be able to hear other people without a problem. Okay, so that's good. If you hear silence and there's nothing there, you're not hearing this ringtone at all, you can click no, and it's going to take you to this second little box here. And notice that here it says you have two speakers. Remember I showed you over here on the left that there are two. All right, it says you have two speakers, now testing speaker 2. The first speaker was the headphone. The second speaker is that system speaker. So it's going to test this one now. Hopefully you're going to hear a ringtone. If you do, you're going to click yes, everything is good to go. If you still don't hear anything and it's silence, click no. This third box will pop up. And it says, we've tested all your speakers. You can test again and go through the same process again, or you might have to join by your phone, by phone. All right, could be something's wrong, something's going wrong somewhere, and instead of fighting it through the whole thing, you might just have to join audio by phone. And when you click on that button, it's going to show you a series of phone numbers, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But if all of this is not working, look over here on the yellow message down here. It says, check the volume on your computer first. Boy, oh boy, I've seen some people really get frustrated about this. And the only problem was on their computer, they had clicked the mute button. So your computer has, you can adjust your sound on your computer usually, and oftentimes it's through your keyboard. Usually on the top level of your keyboard, at least on mine in the upper left, I have, it looks like a speaker, and it might have a plus sign or a minus sign next to it or an X through it, meaning that you've muted it. Please make sure that your speaker volume is on. Also, you can typically access the speaker volume maybe in the lower right-hand corner of your computer. Sometimes there's an icon down there. So check the volume on your computer first to make sure that's on before you try to go through all this testing. It could be something that simple. Okay, so you've tested your speaker. Now you need to test your microphone. Make sure your microphone is working, so when you do speak, other people can hear you. So it kind of goes through the same process as the speaker. So you're going to, when you click on testing microphone, and these boxes just keep coming, okay, because you're testing both your speaker and your microphone. So you'll see the box, testing microphone. It's going to say to speak and pause, and then do you hear a replay? In other words, you can do the old-fashioned testing 1, 2, 3, or you can say, hi there, how are you? Whatever you want. Pause for a second. It will replay your voice. You should be able to hear your voice. If you hear your voice played back, click yes. That means your microphone is working just fine and you're ready to go into the meeting. If you don't hear that recording, click no. And just with the testing of the speaker, you're going to get that second box. It'll say you have 2 microphones. They're now going to test microphone 2. Say the same thing again, testing 1, 2, 3. Hopefully this time you're going to hear your voice. Click yes, everything's good. If not, and it's just silence again, click no. Down here it's going to say we have tested all the microphones. You can opt to go through it again, or again, join audio by phone, in which case you click that, you're going to be given a series of phone numbers that you can call in, and you might just have to join with your phone, okay, if all of this is not working. All right, so I've taken you through select a microphone. You might have 2 options. Select a speaker. You might have 2 options here. We tested the speaker and microphone, okay? Now, say you do need to switch to phone audio, or you clicked that, connect with phone audio on that, in the testing portion. Here's like a list of phone numbers that is going to pop up for you. Typically, the first one is California. I think the 669 number is a California number up in San Jose. So if you have a smartphone, cell phone, you're not going to incur any kind of charges. You can pretty much dial any number. I always dial just the first one to log in. So, and this screen shows, by the way, it stays up on the screen. So you can grab your cell phone. If you're trying to get into the meeting, you can call that number. You're going to get a recording, and it's going to ask you to enter this meeting ID, this 11-digit ID number right here, followed by the pound sign. So you just punch in on your phone, 899-4850-2012, hit the pound key. It's going to prompt you then to enter the participant ID number, the 6-digit bold number, 411822. So you enter that, followed by the pound key. You're going to get a recording that says you are now connected to the Zoom meeting. Pretty basic, okay? So You can then click done to get out of that. So if you need to ever switch to phone audio rather than struggling around trying to get your video to work and your audio to work, I mean, just join by phone. It's okay. Now that I've taken you through all the different hoops to test your speaker and test your microphone, I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it. So I've already given you all the really hard stuff. Now I'm going to show you the easy stuff. On that same menu, where you have that microphone, you click that caret and you get this menu here. Notice you don't have to go through all of that. You can go right down to this last one that says audio settings. So you click the last one, you're going to get this box. Well, lo and behold, look at what's at the top here. Speaker, test speaker. Isn't that what we just did over here? Test speaker. Notice this one has a little down arrow. That means you can choose the speaker. So if this one doesn't work, click the little down arrow and try the other speaker. You can adjust your volume up and down. Okay. You can do the same thing with your microphone. Test your microphone. You're going to, do the testing 1, 2, 3, and you should hear your voice playback. So it's the same thing. You can adjust the volume of your microphone up and down right here. I keep mine on automatically adjust volume. It's just easier because I don't want to mess with this. So this covers all the same steps that I showed you in those, that first set. Okay, but there are a couple other things down here on this menu that I want to point out to you. Notice these little boxes down here. Automatically join audio by computer when joining a meeting. I keep that clicked. Remember that little message that I covered on the very first slide or the second slide? That's one of those little messages that pops up every time you join. If you click that box right there, you're not going to see that message anymore. It'll just automatically, you'll automatically join by audio. This one is up to you. Mute my microphone when joining a meeting. A lot of people opt for that. Maybe they're eating lunch and they don't want to be chomping on their potato chips while they're entering a meeting and everybody's going ballistic. So if you click that every time you enter a meeting, your microphone will be muted. You can always unmute it, but at least you'll come in silently, which is always nice. Now, this is the fun one. I like this because I discovered this kind of by accident. When you are muted, your microphone is muted, and say I call on Joyce Rittman, and I want Joyce to respond to something. If Joyce presses and holds down the space bar on her keyboard, okay, on her laptop or on her desktop computer, if she holds that space bar down, it will unmute her temporarily. She can respond to my question, and then when she releases that space bar, she goes back to being muted. So you can stay muted through a whole presentation, and if I call on you, if I call on Pat Seaman, I call on Vicki McGregor, or I call on Joyce, and I say, hey, I need an answer to this question, Vicki. If Vicki holds down her space bar and keeps it held down, she can respond to my question, and I'll say, thank you so much for your response. She lets go and she's muted again. So that's kind of a nice little tool to have. Okay, so I wanted to point those out. Now, something else on this audio settings menu, and I'm gonna let you practice with this in a moment. See this accessibility menu item here that has the circle on it. And remember I told you that your toolbar will hide itself down at the bottom of your screen, and there's a way to make it always appear. This is the magic way of doing it. It's through accessibility. If you click on that, and then you find where it says on the next screen, meeting controls, and you click that, always show meeting controls. That's the toolbar at the bottom with the microphone, the video camera, the chat screen, okay? And it will always show. So you never have to search around for it. So that's kind of a fun thing to do too. So now it's time to practice. Okay, so this is what I would like you to do. All of you are muted as far as I can see. I would like you to unmute yourself. Go ahead. Can you wiggle the mouse around to get your toolbar? Unmute yourself. Okay. I see people unmuted. I see most people unmuted. Okay. I got to open my screen here and look. Most people. Very good. Very good. Pretty easy.
What time do you?
Okay. I do hear people in the background. So obviously something, I think that was Steve.
Good.
He's talking, having a conversation.
Well, yes, of course.
It's like the school teacher. I'm pointing out the kid in the back row, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
who's talking?
Go ahead and mute yourselves again, if you would, please. So just click on that microphone. You guys are experts. Okay. Now what I'd like you to do, go down to the microphone and click on that caret, that little arrow, and then click on audio settings. So go down to the microphone and click on the little arrow. The menu pops up. Can you see audio settings?
Yep.
Shake your head if you can. All right, click on that.
Is it audio options? Audio options?
Mine says audio settings. Should say audio settings. It's at the bottom of that menu, the black menu. Then a white screen. You should have a white screen. Did anybody get that?
Yep.
All right. On that left-hand side, I want you to go down to where it says accessibility. Click on accessibility on the left. Did everybody do it? All right. You guys are great. All right. See where it says meeting controls in the middle, right below the big black screen? Click on that box that says always show meeting controls. And now your toolbar is always going to show up. You'll never have to search for it again. Now to get out of that, you just click the X up in the right-hand corner of that white box. Okay? All right. Give me a thumbs up if you're good to go. Yay. All right. Good job. All right. That's the practice for the first part. All right. Let's go to the second item, which is the video settings. Okay, so we already did the microphone. The video and the video camera there, you'll see that icon is on the toolbar. When you locate that camera icon, and if you click the caret next to that one, this menu on the right, the black menu, is going to show up. Okay, notice that it's a little smaller. Okay, I'm hearing people in the background. I need you guys to make sure that you've muted yourselves. Okay. And I'm not going to mute everybody because I practiced it yesterday and for some reason my computer was not muting everybody. So I need you all to mute yourself if possible. Okay. On video settings, notice that the menu that pops up is much smaller than the one that you saw with the microphone settings. And that's because most items that you use only have one camera. So it's not like you have a whole lot of choices. So notice that there's only one camera here listed for my computer. And there's a check mark for it, which means that that is the one that is currently being used. I don't have a portable camera. Some people have bought little portable cameras that you can click on the top of your screen. Maybe you have an older computer and it didn't come with a camera, and so you went out and bought one, a small round camera, and you click it on the top of your screen. That would show up then on this menu right here. But I only have the one camera. This is the one that is the default. Now notice here in yellow in step number 2, it says be sure your computer camera is on. Make sure, okay, now on my screen, I'm going to show you. I have a little switch that turns it off and on. Okay, I hope my camera is on. Is my camera on? I hope. Good, thank you. Okay, if by chance I was moving my screen around and I happened to move that button, perhaps my camera would be off no matter what I do here. So you got to check that. If you've got a laptop or something else, make sure that your thumb, you know, or your thumb on your cell phone, maybe your thumb is covering the camera and so nobody can see you. Okay, so you've just got to be aware of those things. Obviously, if you see your face, and I see all your faces except for a couple people with black screens, your video is working just fine. You don't have to worry about that. If you choose to stop your video for whatever reason, maybe you need to get up out of your seat, maybe you want to go get something to drink, whatever, and you don't want people watching you, get up, move around, or you've got grandkids running around in the back and you don't want everybody to see that, you can always turn your video off. That'll turn your screen black and it'll just have your name in the middle. Just click on that video icon. You're going to see a red line go through it, okay? And that'll turn off your screen. Now, this is kind of fun, and I noticed I can't remember, somebody earlier had their virtual screen on. I thought it was pretty cool. I see Regina's got one. She's over at the Golden Gate Bridge, I think. Good job, Regina. This is kind of fun. So the virtual background, okay, you're having, you've had company at your house. Your house is in disarray. Your family room is a mess. You know, there's pillows and blankets or whatever. Or like my grandkids, they made a fort in the living room and I haven't cleaned it up yet. But I have to hold a webinar or I'm holding a Zoom meeting. I don't want everybody looking at my family room here, which is a mess. You can create a virtual background, okay? That is not your live background here. It's a virtual one. To do that, you click, you're on the menu for the video menu, you click that caret and it says choose virtual background. Some devices don't work very well with this. I just want to give you a heads up on that. Laptops usually work fine. Desktops usually work fine. iPads, I don't know. You'd have to play around with that. I don't think I did that with my iPad. So if you click virtual background, you're going to get this white menu over here. And notice where the red arrow is, there's a little plus sign. That means you want to add a picture to create a virtual backdrop for you. Okay, so you would click on that little plus sign and a little message comes up and you want to click add image. Here's the step over here. Add image is the second step. You might get a little message that says, oh, you have to download a virtual package. It takes like 5 seconds and it's free. So just agree to that and download it. If you take pictures and you upload them to your computer and you know how to find those pictures, all you do is go to your file where those pictures are, find a picture that you like, you click on it and click open, and it is then added to this menu on this white page. See, I have 4 different backdrops down here that I have selected from my photos to use as a virtual background. If you don't want to use a virtual background and you just want the background where you are, or perhaps you've chosen a virtual background and you want to go back to your living room, that black box that says none, that's going to take you back to whatever setting you're in, okay, seated right now. So for me, if I wanted to change to a virtual background, one of those, I perhaps want to go to the beach at night, okay? Or maybe I want to go to New Zealand, or maybe I want to go to Sydney. Maybe I just want to go to my den and look like I'm surrounded by great works of literature, okay? Otherwise, I can just go to my living room, okay? So that's kind of neat. Now, just kind of a caution about using a virtual background. Let me go into a virtual background again. I'm going to show you something. Let me go to this one. Okay, now, I don't know, if I move, there's a little distortion. Do you see that? I mean, it looks like my head is like dragging or something.
Good.
Even my hands, if I move my hands, it's distorted.
If you have a virtual background, like the guy the other night who had funny things moving around. Yeah. No.
Yep.
Talking to you.
Okay. And I'm hearing you guys, by the way. Yeah. But that's that
You
can be
move. There's a distortion.
Problematic,
Guy-
guys. You don't get that.
Looks like his.
Okay. I need everybody to mute your mics.
That's what happens.
Make sure you're muting your mics, please. Mute your
You
microphones,
pick a picture
please.
that you want behind you instead of what you really have.
Okay. I'm going to try to mute everybody.
Come here. Yeah.
Okay, Joyce, can you mute your mic, please? Thanks. Okay. All right, so that's a virtual background. You can play around with that, try to get to that on your own. And it is kind of nice, but again, it creates a little bit of distortion. So if that doesn't bother you, but like Regina, she's got, in her background, she's got the Golden Gate Bridge. She's not moving, you know, as long as you're sitting still, then it's, there she is. But you can see even the distortion there if you look at hers. Okay, virtual background. All right, here's our second practice. So I would like everybody to turn your cameras off. So go down and find that video camera. I want to see a bunch of black squares for about 2 seconds, okay? Cameras off, cameras off. You guys are really quick. Okay, I'm seeing about 4 people still, or 3 people, I'm still waiting. Click the camera icon. Mark, can you find that camera icon down there? Oops, I think he's leaving. Jeff Cooper, I still see you. Okay, go ahead and turn your cameras back on. Nice. Very good. So cameras on and off that way. If you have a virtual background, would you please switch to a virtual background if you have one? Pick one and switch to a virtual background. Okay, oh, those are some pretty ones. But as you can see, some of them, the pictures are distorted. Okay, you see that? I think Pat down there, you're a little distorted there, Pat. But you know, they work as long as you're not really moving around. And by the way, the more solid the background for a virtual background, the better. See, I'm not too distorted because the color is almost uniform in the background. But if you have a busy background, sometimes that can create a problem.
My computer does not support the backgrounds without a green screen.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the issue too. If you have an older computer, that could be a problem. Okay. All right, you can go back to your normal background if you would like. I think I'll keep mine there for right now. We're going to go to the next screen. Okay. So we've done the microphone and we've done the video. Now we're going to move on to participants. So if you click that participants icon, and you can do that while I'm doing this presentation, you can click it. The participants icon down there has the silhouette of 2 little people, and you're going to see a number next to it. Look at the participants icon. We should have 22 people. Okay, do you see the 22 next to it? So the number next to it is how many people are actively involved in your Zoom. You will see a white panel or a white box up here, a white panel or a white box. If the panel appears, that's great. If you get the white box, sometimes it shows up right in the middle of your screen. You can actually drag that box to another place on the screen that is a little more convenient than right smack in the middle. So it is a movable box if you have it on your computer or on your laptop. Okay, so you can drag it by just holding the top black bar of the box, and you can move it around your screen to move it to a place that's more convenient. You will also see, so here's that white panel here. On our participant screen, you will see all the names listed down here. And you will see a little microphone and a little video camera next to everybody. If you look at that, you will see a red line through the microphones, which indicates that everybody or nearly everybody is muted. Those that have a red line through their camera, it means that their screen is black right now and you're not seeing their face. The ones that have the normal looking camera, it means that they have their cameras on. Okay, so that's the participants screen. There's nothing too terribly exciting about that. However, this is kind of a smaller version of our participant screen. So notice there's just 2 participants. One is me as the host, and then Mike Schultz. And so let me just show you. If you can do 2 things on the participant screen with that panel opened up or the box opened up. What you can do is see, I told you that there's a microphone and there's a video camera next to your name. If you take your cursor and you hover over one or both of these two blue buttons are going to show up. You can mute yourself that way if you would like. If you click more, you're going to get this little message and you can actually rename yourself. Okay, so say you're in a Zoom and you don't want everybody to see your last name, or you're really not Mike Schultz. Maybe you're borrowing his computer and your name is Joe Smith and you want your name up there. All you would do is hover over the mic and the video camera and click on more, and where it says rename, and a box will pop up and you can type in whatever name you want. So say you don't want your last name, you just want your first name, Sue or Jane or Rob or whatever. You can change your name very easily that way. Okay, so it's with that more. And all you do is hover over one of these icons here. These blue buttons pop up. You click the more, then rename. Okay, and you can type in your name. Down here at the bottom, you're going to see a couple little fun little icons if you want to ever use those. If you have the participants panel open up on the right-hand side and you're doing a presentation and say you have a question and you want to raise your hand, you can click on that blue raise your hand. Thank you, Steve. I see you just did that. If you click on raise your hand, it's going to appear by your name in the participants panel or in the participants box. Lots of you have raised your hand. Very good. Love to see that. Okay. Say I ask a question. I'm taking a poll of all of my attendees and it's a yes or no question and you decide you want to choose yes or no. Why don't you go ahead and if you're already in the participants panel, you can click a yes or a no, and that's going to show up by your name as well. Okay, see lots of yeses. I see a couple no's. Okay, so that can be a real quick poll if you're asking people questions and you want some feedback that way. Those are things that you can do. If you click the more with the 3 dots here on the right hand side, you have a couple other options that I didn't show the images on the screen, but say you want to have a coffee break. If you click on that little more with the 3 dots, you'll see a little coffee cup icon. You can click on that. That indicates you're ready for a coffee break. Looks like Margaret Simpson was in, and Evie Belante, you guys are all ready for a coffee break. You can click on the little clock. That means that you are away from your computer for the moment. You can do a thumbs up, thumbs down. So there's a couple other little things. And that's fine if you're watching the participant screen. As a presenter, it's kind of hard for me to keep an eye on the participant screen on the right while I'm doing a presentation. So it's actually more for the participants than it is for a presenter. Okay, let's go on. That was participants feature. Let's go on to chat. The chat icon down there on your toolbar looks like a voice bubble that you might see in a cartoon. If you click on that chat, kind of like the participants button, you are going to see a panel open up to the right, or you're going to see a box pop up, one or the other. You can use the chat feature while you have the participants feature open. So they both can work at the same time. So that's kind of good. If there are 2 boxes, once again, you can drag them around the screen and place them in a spot that maybe is out of the way and doesn't hinder the viewing of a PowerPoint or a document that's being shared. So just so you know, that can be opened up at the same time as the participants panel. And I'm going to show you what to do on the next screen. Okay, when you have the chat feature open, and if you don't see the voice box on that toolbar, on the right hand side of the toolbar, you'll see a ... and it says more. If you click on that, usually the item right at the top of the menu says chat. So sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's visible on the whole chat bar. So you can find it by clicking more where the ... is, and then you can get to the chat feature. So say you want to ask a question during this meeting. for instance. If, say I've said something and you have a question and I'm not allowing a question and answer right now and you want me to respond at the end, you can click on chat, and down at the bottom, notice down here at the bottom, it says to everyone. All right, you can send a message to everyone by clicking the cursor, putting your cursor where it says type message here. So you click there, you type your message that is appropriate for everybody. It could be a message, it could be a question or whatever. And then on your keyboard, you're going to press enter. That will allow your chat item to go to the top, or to go into the chat bar. Okay. So I see a couple questions. How do you get a virtual background? So you can open the chat at any time during a meeting. It doesn't interfere with a meeting. And you can type messages or questions as you go along. Now, say there's somebody else in the Zoom and you want to send them a personal message just between you and that person. Once again, you go down to the bottom, and see that little arrow, the down caret there where it says everyone? If you click that down arrow, you should be able to search for the names of other people who are in the Zoom. And you click on their name, and then it becomes a private message. You can ask them a question, or you can say something, hi, how are you? Long time no see, good to see you here. Press enter on your keyboard, and it only goes to that person. But you got to be careful about that, because the next time you want to send a chat to everybody, make sure that it goes back from the private, you sent that private message, back to where it says everyone down at the bottom. Okay? Or if you sent a message, a private message, and you forgot to change it and it says everyone, that private message is going to go to everybody. Okay, so you got to be kind of careful about that. So that's the chat feature down at the bottom. All right, the last little icon down here is the reactions. It's a little smiley face that has a plus above it. So if you click on that, you get two options. And I think it's kind of neat because they're both positive options. Say you like something that your presenter says, and you want to give them an applause. So you can click the clapping hands, or if you agree with what they're doing, you want to give them a thumbs up, you can click on the thumbs up, and one of those icons will appear on your box where your image is, and it'll appear there. And oh, I see a couple clapping hands. That's kind of nice. Good. So you can okay, lots of thumbs up. Very good. So those are the two options. It's kind of nice that there isn't a thumbs down. That would be kind of demoralizing while you're in the middle of a presentation. It's like somebody gives you a thumbs down. That's no good. All right, so those are the reactions. The last item, of course, is the leave button, because I've heard people at the end of a presentation say, how the heck do I get out of here? Okay, well, you click that, don't click it yet, but you would click the leave button, and then you get this message that says leave meeting, and you would click that. You can opt to give feedback, and I think the feedback is like a question, and it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and that's pretty much it. So that's how you would leave a meeting at the end of a presentation. So one last practice. I'm going to open up so I can see everybody. Oops. Oh, I'm going too far. All right, let's try this again. Okay, practice screen. Technical difficulties. All right, let's see here. What if you wanted to change your name? Can you click on the participants panel, hover over your microphone or your video camera by your name, click that more button, and click rename, and maybe change your name. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that's, I mean, even if you just click on more and it says rename, at least so you know that it's there. Okay, All right, what would you do if you needed a coffee break? Go down to the bottom of that panel. Do you remember how to get to the coffee break? You're going to click. Oh, it would be in your, yeah, there you go. You got your coffee break. Down at the bottom, you would click that more with the 3 dots, and that's going to take you to the coffee break. Let's see, what if, okay, click your chat, click the chat button. Okay, once again, if you can't see chat on that toolbar, click the more on the right-hand side and go up to chat. Okay, go down, click, make sure that it says to everyone, click the down arrow on the chat to make sure it says to everyone, and type a 2 or 3 word, hi, how are you message. Okay, and it should show up in our chat box. Type a little message. Make sure it's to everyone. This is great. Hi, everyone. Nice job. Oh, you guys are so nice. I love it. I want you to come back tomorrow. Okay, so that's how you do your chat. If you want to, you can go down and click where it says everyone and find somebody's name and just send them a personal hi, how are you to somebody else who's attending. Okay, but you click on their name and type your message in, and then again, click your enter key, and that sends it. Okay, all righty. I'm going to go back to our last couple slides because we only have about 4 minutes left. Okay, this is oh, by the way, on a smartphone and on an iPad, you're not going to see this. Okay, you will see it on your laptop and you will see it on a desktop. If you look in the upper left-hand corner, you should see 2 little icons. One is a green shield with a check mark in it. Okay, this is a quick way to get to your settings, to all of your settings, and have access to all of the settings for a Zoom. Okay, so if you click on that, you're going to get this big white menu right here. And notice that if you're having trouble with your video, you can click on video. If you're having trouble with your audio, again, you can click on audio from there rather than going down to your microphone or whatever. If you want to share a screen or you want to change a setting for sharing screen, you can click on that. You want to do a virtual background, okay? So you would have access to all of these settings, okay, by just clicking on that little green icon in the left-hand corner. I'm not taking you through all of these because there's a lot of info just in those, but you need to go on sometime or another and just kind of play with those a little bit. Once again, you can, if you go to that accessibility down at the bottom, and you click meeting controls, always show meeting controls, that means that menu will always stay up with all those little icons on it and all the tools. So you can do that. Okay, practice makes perfect, as you well know. And as a former school teacher, I just want to tell you, you need to practice. That's how I learned pretty much all of this. You can open a free account. One of the handouts, I think that was one of the handouts that was sent for this webinar, is how to create a free account. This is a real short version of it, but you can read it off the paper. You go to Zoom, you sign in, you click on host a meeting. It's in the upper right-hand corner. Click open Zoom meeting, and voila, you've got your screen open. You can click all of these buttons, play around. You're not going to break the system, just so you know. You're not going to break it. Nothing's going to break it. You can play around, you can go in and out, end it, open a new meeting. It doesn't make any difference, okay? But I would suggest that you play around with a little bit more. We have about 1 more minute. You might have some questions, so in just a second, I'm going to open up. I'm going to end the PowerPoint and open up, but I've got some information down here. If you need more practice, open up a free account and play with it. Send me off an email. I'll do a practice with you if you want. If this was too fast, I'm going to repeat this presentation tomorrow at 10:30. On the 30th of July, which is a Thursday, I am going to show how to host a Zoom session, because the tools are just a little bit different if you're hosting, okay? Other than just being a participant. If you need to contact me, my email is at the bottom of the screen in yellow, ronandsue82@gmail.com. I am going to stop sharing my screen right now so I can see everybody's lovely faces. And you're welcome to unmute yourself if you'd like. Our time is up. It's been an hour. If you want to hang out for a little bit, I will try to answer some questions. If you want to just open a chat bar and you want to type your questions there, I can, and you know, I can always respond in an email to you if you want. You can send me an email. I know I went kind of fast. I hope you got something new out of it that you maybe didn't get before. There's just little buttons here or there. So hopefully you understand that attending a Zoom isn't just opening a Zoom and sitting there and doing nothing. That you actually have things that you can do to be an active participant. So let me see. I'm going to open chats and address some questions. If you don't have any questions or you don't want to hang out for a little bit, I'm going to probably address some questions for about the next 10 minutes. You're welcome to hang out. I don't think the screen's going to go black. Let's see here. The time of the presentation on the 30th is 10:30. 10:30 in the morning on the 30th. Let's see. I don't think there are any other questions. Anybody else have any questions? If you do, you can raise your hand. Yeah, Steve?
Yeah, mine isn't a question. Mine's an invite to everybody. Area 5 has an open bar right now. Is that the right one? No host bar. You go to
Okay.
your refrigerator.
All right, here's
You
my
open it.
Here's
You
my
choose
reaction.
your own.
Thumbs up. Good job. Okay. Okay. Somebody asked, let me see, this is from Vicki McGregor. Hang on a second. How long is a Zoom meeting? Okay. Good question. If you have a free account with Zoom, you are limited with a group, you're limited to 40 minutes only for a free account. They're going to cut you off. I don't know. They don't cut you off at 40. They might let you go 5 minutes over, but you're going to keep getting these pop-up messages that says, your time is up. Your time is up. Okay. So if you create a pro account, which is, they're having a sale on it, but it's normally $14.99 a month. You can create a pro account. Then you can Zoom for 24 hours if you're that tough, I guess, but there's really no limit. Okay.
I had a question.
Yes, Mary Dixon.
So one of the things that the virtual background, for some reason, mine is always kind of blurry.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering I looked at all the settings and I couldn't figure out why.
Because I know that if you click on the up arrow by the video camera.
Yeah, I went into that.
And did you go into video settings?
I did.
You went into enable HD?
I don't know if I did enable HD.
Because if you go to enable HD.
Yeah, I did enable. I did do that.
I honestly don't have an answer for you.
Okay.
So I know they all seem to be not quite crystal clear. I don't know. They just kind of seem to be that way.
Well, yours looks a lot clearer than mine. That's why I was happy.
But you know what? If I went to, let me switch to like this one. This one seems a little distorted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it's just the picture. And notice the brightness. The brighter the picture, I think the more distortion. The darker the picture, the better.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Sterling.
Thank you.
Sterling, you got to unmute.
Sorry, be cautious of trying to get your picture too sharp, because if you get too much bandwidth chewed up, it'll slow down your synchronization between your voice and your picture. And you'll be talking and people will hear your voice, but they won't see your mouth moving. So it's a trade-off. If you chew up too much bandwidth for a pretty picture, you may suffer in the audio.
Okay, I see another question. Thank you, Jim. it says, does the screen black out after a certain amount of time during a Zoom meeting that someone else has set up? Not that I'm aware of. If you're afraid that your screen is going to black out, you can always wiggle the mouse around or use your touchpad just to make sure everything is activated all the time. So if you don't do anything, your computer might think that it's ready to go to sleep and take a break. And sometimes that will black out your screen. So just wiggle the mouse around or put your finger on the touchpad on your iPad and just to let your computer know that you're still there. Any other question? I don't see any hands up. Oh yeah, Susan.
Is there, when they have the screen frame, can you have more than 2 people? Like say, if you wanted to sing a trio, in a trio, can all 3 be heard, or is it just 1 at a time?
As far as speaking or seeing their images or what? I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
Like if we wanted to sing a duet,
Oh,
can both of you be heard at the same time,
yes.
or is it just 1?
Well, despite what I've seen on TV, and I've seen that, on TV with, different productions that people have done.
Right.
I don't know, but when I am speaking on a Zoom and somebody else starts talking, I think my voice gets cut out, if I'm not mistaken. So it might not work. It would be worth a try. All you'd have to do is go on and rehearse it a couple times and see what happens. You can always try it and try recording yourself and then see how it works.
Okay.
That's what I would do. I would just practice.
Okay. So as we have it right now, only 1 person at a time can speak.
Well, kind of. I think if everybody started speaking, their voices would kind of cancel out each other's, from
Right.
what I can kind of tell.
Right.
So do we want to try that and see what it does? So
I'm going to let you do that on your own.
there we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
What I understood about the chorals groups that we're seeing is that they have all recorded their voices separately
Oh,
and
is that how it
then
works?
joined them together.
All right. Good point. Thank you. I didn't know that, Mary. Thanks.
Thank
There
you.
was a great story on Sunday morning program last Sunday where a guy has synced 17,000 people on a choral presentation.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
he said the hardest part is doing all the technology linking of it.
And coordinating it and getting it coordinated so everybody's on the same, note at the same time. That's beyond me. This is just a basic Zoom meeting. So,
And if I was on it, I'd be singing flat. So
well, I would not be singing, period. That would be, yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending. I hope to see you on the 30th, or if you thought that this was valuable and you know people who maybe are not real familiar with Zoom, again, I have one tomorrow at 10:30. And they can sign up on CalRTA on that main website. So if you need to get a hold of me, send me an email. I can practice with you, whatever you want to do. But other than that, I'm going to say goodbye. Bye, all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.